Ambassador Zexter of the Calarian Confederacy stood on the observation deck of humanity's orbital station. His four eyes blinking in rapid succession, a gesture, his species reserved for profound confusion. Behind him, the delegation of 17 species shuffled nervously, their various appendages twitching with anticipation. Primitive species, Zextahat told the Galactic Council 3 cycles ago. Recently discovered, barely achieve fusion propulsion. We shall welcome them, as is tradition. The welcoming ceremony had been prepared with customary galactic pomp. The Calarians brought their stellar dreadnought, the Infinite Majesty, measuring 3 kilometers from bow to stern. Its crystalline hull refracted light into spectacular patterns. Its quantum shields shimmered with contained power, and its displacement engines could fold space itself. It was, by any measure, a masterpiece of galactic engineering. The other species had brought their finest vessels too. The insectoid Threx arrived in their hive ship, a living vessel grown over centuries. The gaseous Novari floated in their containment cruiser, pulsing with bioluminescent pride. Even the diminutive Pixin had towed their generational ark, a monument to their species' perseverance across the void. They came to impress, to inspire, to show these newcomers the wonders that awaited them among the stars. Commander Sarah Chen stood beside Zexter, her crisp military uniform, a stark contrast to his flowing ceremonial robes. She had been smiling politely for the past hour as each species presented their vessels, nodding appreciatively at each specification, each technological marvel. And so, Zexthar said, gesturing with 3 of his 6 arms toward the assembled fleet, we welcome humanity to the galactic community. We hope our vessels inspire you to reach for such heights. In time, perhaps in several of your generations, you too might construct ships of such magnificence. Sarah's smile didn't waver. They're beautiful. Truly, your engineering is remarkable. You are most gracious. Zexter's translator rendered his pleased humming. We understand this must be overwhelming for such a young species. Tell me, what vessels has humanity brought to this historic occasion? We weren't sure what to bring, Sarah admitted. We're still figuring out our place out here. But we did bring a few ships. For protection, you understand? Protection? The Threx representative clicked in amusement. From what? You are among friends, little ones, of course, Sarah said. Still, protocols? May I show you? She gestured to the viewport. Zexter turned, expecting perhaps a few crude fusion drive vessels, maybe even something charming in its simplicity. The first battleship emerged from Earth's shadow. The UNSC Thermopylae measured 5 kilometers in length, its hull not crystalline or bioluminescent, but a matte gray that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Angular, brutal, efficient, no flowing curves or artistic flourishes, just armor plating, weapon emplacements, and radiator fins. Impressive size for such a young Zexter began. The second battleship took position beside the first. Then a third. A fourth. How many? ... The Novari representative's translation device struggled with their species' rising frequency of alarm. Sarah checked her tablet. For this diplomatic mission, we brought 12 battleships, 48 destroyers, 96 frigates, and 216 support craft. The carriers are staying further out. We didn't want to seem aggressive. The observation deck fell silent except for the environmental system's gentle hum. 12 battleships, Zexter repeated slowly. You brought 12 capital ships to a welcoming ceremony? Is that too many? Sarah asked with genuine concern. Admiral Kowalski wanted to bring the whole 7th Fleet, but I convinced him that might send the wrong message. Zexta's translator made a sound that might have been the alien equivalent of choking. How many fleets does humanity possess? 18, currently. Though 3 are in dock for refitting, and 2 are on extended patrol in the outer colonies. We're building more, of course. The shipyards at Luna, Mars, Titan, and Europa are running 3 shifts. The Pixan delegate, Brave, despite their small stature, floated closer to the window. But your species only achieved faster than light travel 7 of your years ago. We've been monitoring. How did you ... double quotes build all this? Sarah smiled. We've been building warships for thousands of years, just not space-worthy ones. Once we figured out the propulsion problem, well, we had a lot of experience to draw from. Humanity has fought 14,000 wars in our recorded history. We got pretty good at it. One of the Thermopylae's main gun turrets rotated, tracking something in the distance. Each barrel was the size of a Pixan arc. What? His voice came out as barely a whisper. What do those fire? Kinetic kill vehicles, mostly? Depleted uranium slugs accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed. We also have missiles, lasers, particle beams, nuclear warheads, and a few experimental weapons we're still testing. The railguns are my favorite, though. Simple physics. Mass times velocity. But why? The Threx delegate's mandibles clacked in distress. The galaxy has been at peace for 400 cycles. Who are you expecting to fight? Sarah turned to face the assembled aliens, her expression shifting from polite to something harder. Something that had been forged in the fires of humanity's bloody history. Anyone who gives us a reason to, she said quietly. We're explorers, ambassadors, scientists, and artists. We came to the stars hoping to find friends. She gestured to the fleet behind her. But we prepared to find enemies, because that's what humans do. We hope for the best and prepare for the worst. She pulled up a holographic display showing the galactic map. Your Calarian Confederacy spans 200 systems. The Threx Collective controls 150. Humanity holds 47 systems, and we've been in space for 7 years. She zoomed in on Earth. This is our only homeworld. Every single system we have, we built from nothing, and we will defend them with everything we have. Zexter stared at the human, then at the fleet, then back at the human. His species had evolved on a peaceful world, had joined a peaceful galaxy, had never known true war. What are humans? He asked finally. Sarah's smile returned, but it was different now. Proud, fierce. We're the species that turned our entire planet into a cautionary tale, then decided to export that lesson to the stars. We're the ones who split the atom just to see if we could, then immediately weaponized it. We're the species that looked at the peaceful, beautiful galaxy you've built and said, "That's wonderful. Now how do we defend it?" She walked to the viewport, placing her hand against the glass as another battleship glided past. You brought your finest ships to impress us, and they are magnificent. Works of art, testaments to your culture's achievements. She turned back to face them. We brought warships, because when humans looked up at the stars, we didn't just see wonder and possibility. We saw a frontier that needed protecting. We saw our children's future that needed defending. We saw a universe full of unknowns that needed to be met with strength. The observation deck remained silent. Finally, the Novari delegate pulsed a deep bluer color Sarah's briefing had taught her meant respect. Perhaps the gaseous being said slowly, "Humanity has something to teach the galaxy after all." Sarah nodded. "We hope so. And we hope we have much to learn from you. But we'll do both on our terms. As equals, not as children to be mentored." Looked once more at the human fleet. At the 12 battleships that represented just a fraction of humanity's military might. Built in just 7 years by a species that had been confined to a single planet. Equals, he agreed quietly. Yes, I believe that would be wise. As the delegation departed, Sarah remained at the viewport watching the Thermopylae maneuver into formation. Somewhere on that ship, thousands of sailors went about their duties. Each one a legacy of humanity's violent, beautiful, terrible, and wonderful history. They had come to the stars not as supplicants, but as survivors. Not as students, but as peers. And the galaxy would never look at humanity quite the same way again.